This video is an affiliation with Collingwood Insurance. Now, the U-turn. How do you turn the car around? Well, firstly, you want to make sure you're as close to the curb as possible, because if you're near the middle of the road and you try and turn around, you haven't got as much space as if you start off near the curb. Before doing the U-turn, you need to consider the dangers. So, who's in front? If there's oncoming cars, obviously you don't want to turn in front of them. You can use your mirror to see behind you, you can use your wing mirror to see to the side of you, and you can use your blind spot to look for anyone coming out of driveways. As you can see here, there's no one coming out of the driveways and no one crossing the road from the pavement. Make sure you check all those points before you do this turn. A good tip is to turn the wheel all the way in the direction you want to go before you start moving, so you need as little space as possible to make this turn. Yes, this is dry steering, but check out my link in the top right hand corner of the screen to dry steering for my thoughts on that one. And when no one's coming and you're sure it's safe, you start moving slowly, looking over to the right so you can see where you're heading, and then try and look far up the road and gradually straighten the wheel as you finish. Looking further up the road as you start to straighten will help you judge how much to straighten the wheel and when. If you just look out the front window, you're not really looking where you're going, you're only looking where the car is pointing. But most of the time, in the UK at least, you don't have enough room to make it all the way round because the roads are too narrow. So what you need to do is steer all the way the other way when you run out of space, select reverse, make sure it's safe to come back before you come back. Looks like no one's walking behind me. And then gradually come back until you're near the curb. You can judge you're near the curb by looking in the mirror to see how close the curb is in the mirror. It's quite hard to judge that. With practice, you can get better. Another way is to look over your right shoulder. And I find in most cars, when the curb gets near the bottom corner of your window, such as it is about now, then you're quite close. Looking out the back window doesn't tell you anything. That doesn't tell you how close you are to anything. That just tells you if you're going to hit anyone or a lamppost. Once you're back as far as you can, and don't chance it, if you think you might hit something, don't go back any further. Once you're back as far as you can, steer all the way the other way again. Select first gear or drive. Make sure no one's coming, just in case they want to drive past you. Look again up the road where you want to head. Try not looking at the curb, again you can't really see it. It'll just mean that you're not looking where you're going, so look up there, and hopefully if you aim up there as you come round, you'll start straightening naturally to carry on up the road without hitting the curb. If you think you're going to hit the curb when you go forwards there, quite simple really, just do the same thing again, turn the wheel the other way and go back again. That's known as a 5-point turn. Sometimes 3-point turns turn into 5-point turns on particularly narrow roads. When you want to turn around, you can also use roundabouts. That's probably the easiest way to turn around if there's a lot of roundabouts in your area. But avoid turning round on mini roundabouts because it's very dangerous. People don't expect you to do it and they'll think you're turning right. As you go all the way around, they pull out and, well, bad things can happen. If the mini roundabout is empty, then yes, you can do a U-turn on a mini roundabout. It's not against the law in the UK, it's just not advisable. However, most people have sat-navs these days, so they rarely have to turn around. If you're in an unfamiliar area and you go the wrong way, your sat-nav should simply reroute you. However, sometimes sat-navs do tell you to do U-turns and in some quite dangerous places. If this happens, just keep driving. Don't do a U-turn in a dangerous place. The sat-nav will find an alternative route for you, and quite often it doesn't take much longer. Well, I hope this video helps. If you think it does, please give it a thumbs up. And now I'm going to tell you about Collingwood and Confused.com because they can give you a great deal on car insurance, particularly if you're learning to drive. Collingwood can help you insure yourself on somebody else's car without affecting their policy. So it takes away some of the stress when it comes to learning to drive. And via the link right now, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. Using the link does support this channel, and there are long-term and short-term policies available. If you go for a long-term policy and you want to cancel it, you can, and you do get a pro rata refund. So if you go for a long-term policy, you don't have to use the whole thing. If you only use a couple of months of it, then you can cancel it and get the remainder of your money back. If you want to insure your own car and you want to compare many insurers without having to do loads of quotes, Confused.com are your friend. With Confused.com, you fill out one form and they compare many insurers for you. But also you can adjust that form, that online form. You can add drivers, take them off, change your excess, change your mileage, and see how that changes the price. Using the link does support this channel. If you want to get my future videos, please subscribe. And until the next one, cheerio.